let's just take one more minute talking about this either-or thing.
Right.
And especially when you try, there's a sense, especially with this thing called the intrawebs. I don't know if you know about it, but it's the World Wide Web. Everybody's never heard of it.
I keep hearing about the thing.
Every 13-year-old boy.
Have you got a computer?
Yeah.
I need to get one of those.
Every 13-year-old boy now is an expert on all things. You can,
The more, have you noticed that your expertise is directly proportional to the number of posts you've made?
That's exactly. Well, that's why I post so much.
Careers have been built with typing instead of doing. And, absolutely.
What happens is they get into these, and even at my own forum, I have a Q&A at davedraper.com. Even at my own forum, people constantly want me to say, well, you said you don't need squats to throw discus far. Well, yeah, you only need like a 450-pound squat. Oh, I can't do that. Well, then you got to get the. I got a huge squat. I noticed the more and more I squatted, after a certain there's a breakover where you can literally be too. It's not too strong.
It's too much specialization in strength.
Yeah,
because you're not a power lifter.
Yeah. So what you want to be able to do is squat 450. That's it. You want to be you want to be scary strong. You don't want to grind. Well, you said that now you say that sleds or hill running is better for throwers. Well, okay, get out of that either or. You need a squat. In fact, I think the squatting movement is something you should do every single day. I think every single day an adult should do a few squatting movements. The same way I feel that every single day you should probably walk a little. It's the human needs it.
Right.
Hill running is probably better for you when you have, not better. It's part of the big package, and this black and white either or, and then they'll like pit us against each other on these forums.
One against the other.
Yeah. Well,
either or.
Yeah.
What is Dan John says this, you say this. Well, it depends on who we're dealing with, when we're dealing with them, and what particular problem we're trying to address when we do this.
If you have 65 sophomores in a weight room, you'll move the front squats.
You think?
And I'll tell you why. Because maybe,
I might not.
You might not.
Probably would.
You might not, but
I won't. But
what's going to happen is the front squat is going to regulate weight choices. You're not going to see a kid doing a good morning squat.
Right.
That case, it'll stop.
Because it falls off in the floor.
It'll stop that. It'll stop a lot of issues. So I'm saying, my experience, my skill set has led me to this conclusion. Mike Boyle is wonderful about this. Mike Boyle doesn't teach kettlebell snatches. Why? Bruises people right here. And if you're working with somebody who's trying to become a better football player and you bruise him here, it just upsets him. Well, so he drops him. And, of course, he'll get a call from mom. Why are you bruising my son? Okay. I teach a lot of double kettlebell work, a lot of double kettlebell front squats, double kettlebell cleans, because I think it's a lot like a football game. The kids will tell you that's how you kind of feel after a play. That's kind of a weird kind of tired. It's not a tired. It's more of a, whoa, okay, let's go again. Kind of like a wrestling
like a play.
Like, yeah. So sometimes our experiences lead us to this point, and nothing that you do or Mike does or Dave Draper does is bad, but in this gym right now, this is what we're going to do. Now, the funny thing is, 6 months, I hope I'm not. Here's my whole package. I hope in 6 months it isn't that. I hope I've done this. Because I'm constantly, like a conveyor belt, I'm constantly throwing things. I mean, right now, the workout, the warm-up I use with my groups now is radically different. Well, not radically. It's probably 50% new from just a year ago when I'm working with a big group.
Well, there's nothing I'm doing right now that I was doing exactly the same 10 years ago. Absolutely nothing. I've learned. Now, I tend to stay with the basic stuff. I tend to not use front squats for anybody except Olympic weightlifters. But it's been my experience that I can coach these things. And again, I don't work in a group setting. So I'm not going to comment on the efficacy of your methods. But all I know is that I've had a lot better results teaching individuals, because we're doing different things, the back squat instead of the front squat.
And again, I don't think we disagree at all there.
No. I don't necessarily think we do.
No. The other thing is, like, You might use you've got that great setup of all those dumbbells. The reason I did the kettlebells is one reason. Careful about I don't give away too many trade secrets. Is with adolescents, you don't want too many choices. So
Well, that's true because they're so easily distracted.
So I have a 16-kilo kettlebell, and the next one's a 24-kilo.
Right.
Well, if I had a 30-pound dumbbell, a 35-pound dumbbell, 40-pound dumbbell, 45-pound, 50-pound dumbbell, now a 55-pound dumbbell, I would not get that boy to jump to that heavier kettlebell for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be all those, and I know he can hit. So that you make these decisions, and you have to kind of remind yourself later on about why you do them.
Right.
And
Maybe review the decision.
well, actually, that's why it's so important we get together and talk, because sometimes I forget. I know there's a good reason I did this. I just don't remember why. And also,
Well, I'll show you how to back squat when we get to the gym. Show you how we teach the movement.
actually, I know. I read your book. I read your book. You're asking Patton. I read your damn book, Rommel. Yeah. The Drapers.
Drapers. Last topic.
Larie's amazing.
Larie, I've talked to on the phone a couple of times, and she's just been so gracious and generous about sending me stuff and inviting me and tried to include us. And he invited me to the conference this year, and I just couldn't put it in the schedule. But what a gal!
Yeah, I tell you one thing. I mean, I hate to pat myself too hard in the back, but her most recent book is Gray Cook's Movement Book, which is phenomenal. It's that functional movement screen. It's Okay, I have to put it down and walk away because there's so much information. It might take me years to unpack the thing. Mike Boyle's new book she did.
So she's publishing all these things, laying them out, pasting them, all that kind of stuff.
And then of course Dave's book. I mean, I really like Brother Iron, Sister Steel a lot. I think it's a noteworthy book. And of course, Never Let Go.
See Dan John.
Yeah. But she also she's very easy. And then you go to that. When you go to Iron, I think it's called Iron Online. I just call it DaveDraper.com. But when you go to that website, the resources she's giving, I mean, just out there, it's amazing. And Dave had a little problem with his ticker there a while ago, and he's still hanging in there. He's doing okay. But what a kind and what a great ambassador to our sport. His career is just, his life story is amazing, just amazing. Yeah. But then. The two of them have done so much to give back to our community. It's very impressive,
Well, I'm glad we've got them because they're operating on a completely different side of the spectrum than I do, but they're good people, and I'm glad for their work.
Well, everything I've done with Louise, and it's funny. I went to perform Better with her, and she's like a rock star, but no one knows who she is. So she'll walk up and go talk to somebody. And you'll just be like, oh my God, and then they'll get all fired up. And she's so quiet and so easygoing. It's like she doesn't even know it. It's like, God, Larie, get out there, But she's just such a good worker. Right. So it's a good time to be in our field, I think.
Well, I think I see some things changing. I think I see some improvements, and I'm glad that. You and I can make a contribution to this if that's what we've done.
I think so.
Things are looking up from 10 years ago, for damn sure. Sure.
As bad as the internet was at first, now it has kind of come through a whole cycle.
People are learning how to use it more effectively.
Right, and so what it is when someone puts up a post 12 years ago, I'm the biggest offender. I thought 12 years ago, if you had something on the internet, you knew.
It's like
you must know.
You can't say it if it's not true.
And then about 7 years ago, I would see something and I'd be go, well, I'll try it. Now I look at it and go, and then I just go, Google it. Then I read the 300,000 reviews on it. Bunch of crap. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
I try, and there are some people out there you can trust now, and there are some people that, there's a nice community that can talk about these things intelligently and say, okay, that is just, I won't mention any programs or any DVDs you can buy, but I can look at something and say, that looks like a really hard calisthenics course. And if you do calisthenics hard 4 days a week, you do yoga 2 days a week, and you really monitor your diet, good things will happen.
Right. Body composition things.
Do you need to buy that thing? Well, if it gets you to do those things, that's fine. But you know what? Is that the best yoga program? I can't speak about yoga. I don't know that much. But that's my point. Then you read someone like Steve Ilg, who's really incorporated this stuff in so well. Maybe he's a better choice for you. Here's somebody who's got a little more. It's not. There is there's some thought to this, you know. So I think there's a whole group of people now that you can look at and say, okay, what's the take on this thing? And if it's that simple, you know, sometimes it's, you know, we're killing each other financially too, you know. 'Cause you want to sell your product for $500, and I say, just go watch yoga on TV, follow that, and do a bunch of push-ups and run in place.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. I thought this was great.
Appreciate your coming out.
Yeah.
And appreciate you guys watching us on Starting Strength series.